Why are we stepping off?
Because they don't want you on this aircraft.
They don't want me on this aircraft.
Yeah.
Why?
Let's just talk about it.
Because I'm tall, because I'm white, because I'm black.
Let's go talk about it.
I am human too.
Let's just go talk about
Mic
it.
drop. I need Barack Obama.
Come on.
Tony Robbins.
Hey, I'm being polite with you.
This flight is important.
Let's just get off there.
Everyone on this plane, remember, I will be the first U.S. female president in the United States of the Kazakhstan. Ian, remember this.
All right, let's just go talk about it there.
I'm sorry. Can you call somebody? Can I make a phone call?
Yeah, we can get my supervisor down here and all that.
I need to talk to I need to talk to my husband, please.
You're all right. We can go ahead and talk to him, okay? Come on.
Control, he's here on camera.
Come on.
I'm so scared.
You're all right.
Can I have some water?
I'm here with you, okay?
Control, I am 10-4. Pressed it on accident.
Breathe.
Come on. Okay, let's go outside. We'll get you some water.
That's the key.
Let's get you outside and we'll get you some water.
Can you help me?
I'll help you.
I want to get home to Australia. I've got kids.
I'll help you, okay?
I love Australia. Okay,
I'll help you.
I can't wait to go back. I want to go back this year.
All right, let's go this way.
I'd love to get home.
My name is Gary.
Hey, come down here. She's acting more erratically at the
Gary
moment.
is the key. I want to live there.
All right, come on.
Control, she's off the aircraft.
We'll be underway as soon as we can get everybody back seated. And thank you. Thank you. Sorry.
Off the aircraft.
Okay, do you want her 10:15 or what's going on?
Control, are they at Alpha?
Here, come over here. Let's have a conversation.
She is off the aircraft.
Here, we'll get you water.
Okay. Can I have water?
Yeah. They're gonna get you water, so just come sit down and we'll
I
talk.
think it's easier when we're walking. Can we walk and talk?
No, let's have a sit. Let's have a seat.
Okay, can I talk to my
All right,
husband first?
stop.
Why am I stopping?
Put your hands behind your back.
Why are you arresting me? Are you serious?
What's right here? No! You're gonna get tased. Get on the fucking ground right now.
Why? I want to call my husband!
Get the other car.
Give me your arm now.
They have her in control.
All right.
1911, how's that for?
We're 10-4. We were 10-15. Lock your cuffs. I don't know how to do it.
Jesus Christ.
I can get a phone call.
Sit down.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm not going to go anywhere. I'm sorry. I just wanted to talk to my husband and I asked for water.
Close your dress. Let me close your dress.
Sorry, it's hot.
Karma, let her stand up.
I just want water. Can I stand up?
Yeah.
I can get up by myself.
1, 2, 3.
Stand up. Okay. We're going to close your dress.
Is that a camera?
Yes.
That's cool. Where does it go?
I don't understand your question.
Like, who watches it?
My department.
The Department of the Airports?
Yes.
And the TSA of the United
Not
States?
TSA. No.
You're not the TSA? You're the
No.
police?
Okay, so we're going to walk downstairs. We're going to go to one of our patrol cars.
Okay, I just have to breathe. Can I have water first, please?
No.
You're not going to give me water.
No, ma'am. Not after the scene you just caused. We can have water later.
What did I do?
You just threw yourself on the ground.
I sat down.
You did not sit down. You undid your
That's
dress.
bullshit.
You exposed yourself to everyone in the airport.
It's hot,
You're
and I
going
asked
to
for
jail.
water.
You're being arrested.
Okay. I'm not going to fight you. Promise.
Well, you already did a little bit.
Sorry. Jeff? Can I just call you Jeff?
Yeah, what's your name?
Sarah.
Okay, Sarah. Let's try to calm down, okay?
Can I have some water? I have a bottle. I just need to fill it up. I just want water.
Hold that door.
Water!
You guys are heading back towards. We're down the ramp now.
I want water! Give me water! I need water! No!
Come on.
You'll get water later. Let's go.
You're not gonna give me water? You're kidding me?
Let's
stairs now. Walk down the stairs.
I just want water. My mouth is so dry.
Will you get that?
No. I did see adults take off, but that's legal, right? Maybe like a couple hours ago, right before I walked to the terminal. Right before. Attention, resistors. Must ID.
I'll search her. No.
I'm just dehydrated. It's hot and I need water. And they won't give me any water.
Okay, I'll get some strength, but you need to cooperate.
I'll cooperate when I get water.
No, you're going to cooperate and then we'll get you water.
Stand in front of the car.
No, it doesn't make any
Well,
sense.
that's what's going to happen.
I want water. I want water. I'll cooperate when I get water.
You really do think?
I'm not hiding anything.
Spread your legs. No, we haven't even gotten one. Turn around. Okay. Walk this way.
Yes. Yes.
Nice. Thank you. What's your first name?
Sergeant.
Sergeant? Thank you, Sergeant. I'm tall.
You are tall.
Go to the other side.
Can I get some water?
You'll get water.
I know, but my mouth is so dry, it's hard to talk.
Okay, you'll get water. If you stop talking, your mouth might not be so dry.
Okay, I'll shut up. I can be quiet.
We're getting you water.
I feel like the bread's small.
So did you only take Delta-8 or did you take something else?
No,
And you haven't had any alcohol today?
correct. I'm on sabbatical since May 5th, 2022. I'm on sabbatical, so I'm not drinking.
Okay.
Can I call my husband?
You can call your husband at booking.
At where?
At booking?
Is that when we get there?
Yes.
So I'm not going to be able to go home.
Probably not.
Not today.
Definitely not.
What's hurting me?
Well, they're not made to be comfortable.
Yeah, I can see that now. This is definitely my first time getting arrested. Check that off the bucket list.
So I can't take your cuffs off,
So
but
you can feed me? I mean, give me the...
yeah.
Put it up higher so it's
Yeah. I just don't want you to pour it all over yourself on accident.
You ever feel like you're living in a dream? This is what I feel like right now. For
You didn't get arrested for asking for water,
when I get arrested.
for screaming in the middle of the airport, taking your dress off, and resisting arrest.
Screaming, I was just being loud.
You were screaming. Okay, what's a good phone number for you? Hoffman, come here. What do you do for work?
You mean like... What do I
Get in the car and learn something. What do you do for work?
you mean like...
Like, what do you do for work? What's your job?
I don't have a job.
Okay. Okay, Sarah, what do you need to come with you?
Can I have water first?
You can have water once you get inside.
Okay. What did you say?
You can take one bag with you.
Okay, just one out of the 3?
Yes.
Okay, can you unlock me from here? Or you want me to tell you which one?
I need you to tell me which one.
Let me think. Let me see. So we have... I'm trying to remember what I have in the car. I'm sorry. It's so hard to remember when you don't have water.
I'm going to assume it's probably the blue bag.
Yes, Louis. Yes.
Okay. Go to the other side and unbuckle her seatbelt.
I like your watch, although I'm not an Apple user. I think that they're like the dark side.
I see.
Android is better.
Okay.
Hi.
So,
Austin, hi.
I'll have you step out for me, Sarah.
Okay. This might take a minute because I'm tall in here.
I know you're tall.
On June 28, 2022, airport officers were dispatched to respond to an aircraft that had returned to the terminal due to a disruptive passenger. The incident occurred at Nashville International Airport and involved a woman who refused to deplane after being asked to leave by airline staff. What began as a simple request for a passenger to exit the aircraft would evolve into a prolonged confrontation that disrupted an entire flight and resulted in multiple criminal charges. The aircraft in question was a Delta flight preparing for departure. Flight crew had determined that a passenger needed to be removed from the plane, though the specific initial reason for this decision was not clearly communicated to the woman. The plane had pulled back to the gate to allow officers to board and handle the situation. Airport police were informed that the passenger was refusing to comply with crew instructions to deplane. Officers were told they would attempt to allow the woman to come off willingly, but if she refused, they would need to remove her by other means. Officers considered the logistics of the situation before boarding. There was discussion about whether to deboard the entire plane to avoid dealing with the disruptive passenger in front of all the other travelers. The decision was made to first attempt to have the woman exit voluntarily. If that approach failed, they would proceed with removing all passengers from the aircraft to handle the situation more effectively. Officers wanted to minimize the disruption to other passengers if possible while still maintaining control of the incident. When officers boarded the aircraft, they located the woman seated toward the rear of the plane. Officer Smith, with the Nashville Airport Police, approached her and initiated contact. He greeted her and asked for her name. The woman identified herself as Sarah. Officer Smith introduced himself and explained that airline staff had indicated they wanted her off their aircraft. He asked her if she knew why this was happening. Sarah responded that she did not understand the reason for being asked to leave. She stated that crew members had simply told her she needed to get off without providing an explanation. She mentioned that they had told her they wanted to talk to her outside, as if they did not want to discuss the matter in front of other passengers. Sarah expressed confusion about why she was being asked to deplane and indicated she had not been informed of any specific reason. She asked Officer Smith to give her a moment to catch her breath, noting she was overwhelmed by having so many people surrounding her. Officer Smith asked Sarah if she had consumed anything to drink that day. She responded that she had not, and that she had been looking for water. She stated that flight attendants did not provide her with water and had told her the plane was leaving. She emphasized that she just wanted water. Officer Smith then asked specifically about alcohol consumption. Sarah confirmed she had not consumed any alcohol and stated she had been on a sabbatical since May 5, 2022, implying she was abstaining from alcohol during that period. Officer Smith asked Sarah if she would step off the aircraft so they could figure out what was going on. Sarah appeared to appreciate that Officer Smith had used her first name and made a comment about the importance of people calling each other by their first names. She thanked him for this courtesy. However, she then asked for clarification about why she needed to leave, stating she was going home and needed to know the reason before getting off the plane. Officer Smith explained that Delta was a private company and was allowed to refuse service to passengers on their aircraft. He compared this to any private business having the right to deny service. Sarah seemed to understand the concept but continued to press for a specific reason. Officer Smith warned her that if she did not deplane voluntarily, officers would deboard the entire plane and physically remove her. Sarah questioned this approach, asking if they would actually pull her off the aircraft. Sarah told Officer Smith she needed to sit with her intention and breathe to stay calm. She repeated that she did not understand what was happening and that no one had told her what the problem was. Officer Smith reiterated that if she would simply stand up and walk off the plane, they could deal with the situation outside the aircraft. Sarah again asked for the specific reason she was being removed. Officer Smith repeated his explanation that Delta was a private company with the right to deny service. Sarah pressed further, asking for the actual reason behind the denial of service. Officer Smith told her that the airline did not have to provide a reason and that as a private company, they could remove passengers at their discretion. Sarah questioned whether this meant they could arbitrarily throw her off the plane. Officer Smith confirmed that, yes, essentially they could, because they were a private company and all private companies had this authority. Sarah expressed disbelief at this explanation. She then complained again about being thirsty and mentioned she thought someone was going to bring her water. Officer Smith clarified that he would not be bringing her water. Sarah stated she would wait there for the water and would continue coloring, indicating she had been engaged in some activity in her seat. Officer Smith escalated his warning, telling Sarah she needed to stand up and get off the plane or every single person on the aircraft would be forced to deplane so officers could deal with her specifically. Sarah questioned what it meant that officers would deal with her. She asked if they were going to detain her or deport her. She made references to her family being from Portugal and stated this was not acceptable. She declared she was a United States citizen and then made confusing statements about her race, saying she was white or maybe black and referring to a tattoo. She stated that she was human too and made a comment about a mic drop moment. She then declared she was going to be the first female president. At this point, other passengers began to express frustration. One passenger stated they all wanted to go home and were tired of the delay. The captain made an announcement explaining the situation to the passengers, indicating that the only option available was to deboard everyone if the woman would not leave voluntarily. The captain expressed frustration about having to handle this situation. Officers requested that the entire plane be deboarded, starting from the front. The decision was made to proceed with a full aircraft evacuation. Officers instructed all passengers to begin exiting the plane, starting from the front rows and working backward. The process began as travelers gathered their belongings and filed off the aircraft. Sarah remained seated during this evacuation, surrounded by officers who continued to monitor her behavior. The atmosphere on the plane shifted as passengers realized the entire flight was being delayed because of one individual's refusal to comply. As passengers moved through the aisle toward the exit, some expressed their displeasure at the situation. The disruption affected dozens of people who had been prepared to depart and were now being forced off the aircraft due to circumstances beyond their control. Flight crew coordinated the deboarding process, ensuring passengers moved efficiently while officers maintained their focus on Sarah. The woman remained in her seat, occasionally making statements but not attempting to leave voluntarily. During the evacuation, there was a communication about the aircraft door. Someone asked if they could secure the door or if it needed to remain open. The response indicated the door should stay open for the time being. Sarah continued to insist that no one had told her a reason for being removed from the plane. Her repetition of this complaint suggested she genuinely felt she had been treated unfairly without explanation, though officers had already explained the airline's authority to deny service. Once the majority of passengers had been removed, officers turned their attention back to Sarah. They approached her again and asked her to step off the aircraft. One officer told her to just walk off so they could talk about the situation. Sarah asked what the officer's name was. The officer responded that she should step off first and then they would discuss everything. Sarah asked why she needed to step off. The officer reiterated that the airline did not want her on the aircraft. Sarah questioned whether she was being removed because of her height, because she was white, or because she was black. She repeated her earlier statement that she was human too. She made references to various topics including Barack Obama and Tony Robbins, suggesting a scattered thought pattern. She insisted the flight was important to her and asked everyone to remember her. She made another declaration about becoming the first female president of the United States and mentioned Kazakhstan in her statement. An officer indicated he could call his supervisor if Sarah wanted to speak with someone else. Sarah stated she needed to talk to her husband. The officer agreed they could arrange for her to make that call once she stepped off the plane. Sarah expressed fear, and the officer reassured her that he was there with her. He encouraged her to breathe and told her they could go outside where she would be given water. Sarah expressed concern and the officer continued to reassure her, offering to help her. Sarah made comments about wanting to go home to Australia and mentioned having kids. She stated she wanted to go back to Australia that year. Officers guided her toward the aircraft exit, maintaining a calm demeanor and trying to de-escalate the situation. The officer again promised her water once they got outside. Sarah mentioned loving Australia and wanting to return there. The officer attempted to keep her focused on the immediate task of exiting the plane. Sarah appeared to be complying at this point, moving toward the exit with officers. One officer informed others via radio that she was off the aircraft and they would be underway shortly. The officer stated they just needed to get everyone back seated and thank the crew. The aircraft would be able to proceed once Sarah was completely off and the situation was resolved. As Sarah stepped off the plane and into the terminal, officers continued to speak with her in a calm manner. They directed her toward a location where they could have a conversation. She was told again that she would receive water. Sarah asked if she could have water immediately. Officers told her to come sit down so they could talk. Sarah suggested it was easier to talk while walking and asked if they could walk instead. Officers insisted she needed to sit down. Sarah asked if she could talk to her husband first. Officers told her to stop and then suddenly instructed her to place her hands behind her back. Sarah asked why repeatedly, questioning why she was being arrested. She expressed disbelief at what was happening. An officer commanded her to get on the ground. Sarah asked why again and stated she wanted to call her husband. Officers radioed that they were making an arrest and requested assistance with handcuffing. The situation escalated rapidly as officers attempted to place Sarah in handcuffs. She resisted, and officers had to physically control her to complete the arrest. One officer told her to give up her arm. Sarah protested, stating she did not know how to comply with what they were asking. An officer told her to stay down. Sarah apologized and said she was not going to go anywhere. She reiterated that she had just wanted to talk to her husband and had asked for water. Officers worked to secure Sarah's hands behind her back with handcuffs. During this process, an officer mentioned closing her dress, indicating that her clothing had become disheveled during the physical confrontation. Sarah continued to request water. Officers told her to stand up. She stated she could get up by herself and proceeded to stand. The officers maintained control of the situation as they prepared to transport her from the terminal area. Sarah noticed an officer was wearing a body camera and asked about it. She asked where the footage went and who would watch it. The officer explained that his department would have access to the footage. Sarah asked if it was the TSA, and the officer clarified that he was not with TSA but with airport police. The officer informed Sarah they would be walking downstairs to one of the patrol cars. Sarah asked if she could have water first. The officer denied this request. Sarah questioned why she would not be given water. The officer stated that after the scene she had caused, she would not be getting water at that moment but could have some later. Sarah asked what she had done wrong. The officer explained that she had thrown herself on the ground, though Sarah claimed she had simply sat down. The officer countered that she had not sat down but had thrown herself down, and that she had undone her dress and exposed herself to everyone in the airport. He informed her she was going to jail and was under arrest. Sarah stated she was not going to fight the officers. The officer responded that she had already fought them a little bit. Sarah apologized and asked if she could call the officer by his first name, Jeff. He confirmed that was fine and asked her name, to which she responded, Sarah. Officer Jeff told her to try to calm down. She again requested water, mentioning she had a bottle that just needed to be filled. She emphasized she just wanted water. Officers escorted Sarah through the terminal area, guiding her toward the stairs that would take them to ground level where patrol vehicles were parked. Sarah continued to request water repeatedly, her voice becoming more insistent. Officers maintained their position that she would receive water later, but not immediately. Sarah questioned whether they were serious about denying her water. Officers instructed her to walk down the stairs. As they descended the staircase, Sarah's agitation increased. She repeatedly stated she needed water and questioned why officers would not provide it. Her focus on this single request dominated her interactions with law enforcement. Officers remained firm in their decision to delay providing water until she was properly secured and the situation was under full control. They directed her to continue moving toward the patrol vehicle. Once outside, Sarah asked about water again. An officer asked her when she had last consumed anything. She indicated it had been maybe a couple of hours before she walked to the terminal. Officers prepared to conduct a search of her person before placing her in the patrol car. They instructed her to stand in front of the vehicle. Sarah stated she was just dehydrated and complained about the heat, reiterating that officers would not give her any water. An officer told Sarah she would get water but needed to cooperate first. Sarah responded that she would cooperate when she received water. The officer corrected her, explaining that she needed to cooperate first and then she would get water. Sarah stated this did not make sense. The officer maintained this was the sequence that would happen. He instructed her to stand in front of the car for a search. Sarah claimed she was not hiding anything, but resisted spreading her legs as instructed. Officers conducted a pat-down search of Sarah to ensure she had no weapons or contraband. During the search, she questioned various aspects of what was happening. A supervisor arrived on scene and Sarah asked for the person's name. She was told it was Sergeant Tesler. Sarah thanked the sergeant and asked for the first name. She commented on being tall, and the sergeant acknowledged this observation. Officers directed her to move to the other side of the vehicle. Sarah again requested water. Officers told her she would receive water if she stopped talking, suggesting that if her mouth was not so dry, she might be able to communicate better. An officer asked if she had taken only Delta-8 or if she had consumed something else. Delta-8 is a hemp-derived compound with psychoactive properties. Sarah confirmed she had not taken anything else. The officer also confirmed again that she had not consumed alcohol. Sarah reiterated she had been on a sabbatical since May 5, 2022. Sarah asked if she could call her husband. Officers told her she could make that call at booking, which was where they were transporting her. She asked for clarification about what booking was and where it was located. Officers confirmed she would be able to call from there. Sarah asked if she would be going home. Officers indicated she probably would not be going home, and then corrected themselves to say she definitely would not be going home that day. Sarah commented that the handcuffs were hurting her. An officer acknowledged they were not designed to be comfortable. Sarah noted she could see the handcuffs behind her back. She stated this was definitely her first time being arrested, and she could check it off her bucket list. An officer offered her water from a bottle but indicated he did not want to take the handcuffs off. He expressed concern about her potentially spilling water on herself by accident. Sarah described feeling like she was living in a dream. An officer asked for a good phone number where Sarah could be reached. She provided a number. The officer asked what she did for work. Sarah's response was unclear and somewhat confused. The officer repeated the question, asking what her job was. Sarah indicated she did not have a job at that time. Officers then asked about her bags and which one she needed to bring with her. Sarah again requested water first. Officers told her she could have water once she was inside the booking facility. Officers asked Sarah to identify which bag she wanted to bring. She needed to choose just one out of the 3 bags she had with her. Sarah requested they unlock her from the vehicle, or wanted to know if she needed to tell them which bag while still secured. Officers told her she needed to indicate which bag she wanted. Sarah stated it was hard to remember things when she did not have water. She tried to recall what items were in which bags. Eventually, she identified the blue bag as the one she needed. An officer went to retrieve the blue backpack. Another officer prepared to unbuckle Sarah's seatbelt and help her exit the vehicle. Sarah commented on an officer's watch, noting she was not an Apple user and considered Apple products to be like the dark side, expressing a preference for Android devices instead. An officer greeted her and told her to step out. Sarah indicated it would take a minute because of her height and the confined space of the vehicle. She stated she felt like she was moving slowly and felt fatigued and emotionally exhausted. Sarah mentioned she conducted research on burnout. An officer indicated she had mentioned this before. Sarah seemed pleased to be reminded of this and continued discussing her interests in ending burnout, ending violence, and achieving world peace. She stated she wanted to win a Nobel Peace Prize. Officers directed her to walk toward a specific door, maintaining control of her movement through the area. As they walked, Sarah attempted to greet other people nearby. Officers told her she would have time to talk later. Sarah complained that it was hard to walk while handcuffed. Officers assured her they were almost at the destination, just going to the nearby door. Once inside the facility, Sarah mentioned her hair was in her mouth and asked an officer to remove it. She again complained about her mouth being very dry. The officer removed the hair from her mouth. Sarah thanked him and stated she would be eternally grateful, asking for his name to remember him. The officer confirmed his name was Officer K. Smith. Sarah was directed to have a seat inside the booking area. Officers informed her that staff would be with her shortly and she would receive water at that time. Sarah asked what a sign on the wall meant. An officer explained it was a warning that indicated officers might use pepper spray if she did something wrong, so she should follow the rules. Sarah asked if that meant she should sit down, and the officer confirmed. She mentioned having contact lenses, and the officer told her to inform medical staff if she wanted to remove them. Officers began the booking process by asking Sarah a series of yes or no questions. They asked if she was sick, injured, or suicidal. She answered no. They asked if she had a pacemaker or medical device implanted, or if she had undergone chemotherapy or radiation in the past 30 days. They asked if there was any chance she was pregnant. Sarah answered no to these questions. Officers then asked if she had any drugs or contraband on her person that she needed to surrender. Sarah seemed confused by the question, asking what contraband meant. Officers clarified they were asking about anything illegal. Sarah appeared to have difficulty hearing the question clearly. The booking process continued with officers documenting Sarah's personal information and the circumstances of her arrest. Medical staff would need to evaluate her condition given her repeated complaints about dehydration and her apparent difficulty focusing on questions and instructions. The combination of her behavior on the aircraft, her resistance during the arrest, and her statements about Delta-8 consumption would all factor into how she was processed through the system. Sarah's arrest stemmed from multiple incidents that occurred both on the aircraft and in the terminal. Her initial refusal to deplane when requested by airline staff had triggered the entire sequence of events. While passengers have limited rights once an airline decides to deny them service, Sarah's continued resistance and her behavior during the arrest compounded her legal situation significantly. What might have been resolved with a simple removal from the plane escalated into criminal charges due to her actions. The charges filed against Sarah included 3 separate misdemeanors. The first was indecent exposure, which related to the incident where she had removed or adjusted her dress in the terminal area in front of other travelers and staff. Officers had noted during the arrest that she had exposed herself to people in the airport, and this observation formed the basis for this charge. Indecent exposure laws are designed to protect public decency and prevent individuals from displaying their bodies in ways that are considered offensive or inappropriate in public spaces. The second charge was disorderly conduct. This charge encompassed Sarah's behavior throughout the incident, including her refusal to comply with airline staff instructions, her disruptive statements and declarations on the aircraft, her resistance to officers' commands, and her overall conduct that disturbed the peace and normal operations of the airport. Disorderly conduct charges are commonly applied in situations where an individual's behavior creates a public disturbance or interferes with the lawful activities of others. In an airport setting, such conduct is taken particularly seriously due to security concerns and the need to maintain order in a transportation facility. This charge applied to Sarah's physical resistance when officers attempted to place her in handcuffs. Officers had given her multiple opportunities to comply voluntarily, but when they moved to arrest her, she did not cooperate with their instructions to place her hands behind her back and submit to being handcuffed. Her resistance required officers to use physical control measures to complete the arrest. While the resistance was not characterized as violent assault on officers, it still constituted a refusal to submit to lawful arrest, which is a criminal offense. Each of these charges carried potential penalties, including fines, probation, and possible jail time. The specific sentences would depend on Tennessee state law, Sarah's prior criminal history, if any, and the discretion of the court. As misdemeanors, these charges were less serious than felonies, but still represented significant legal consequences. Sarah would need to appear in court to answer to these charges and would have the opportunity to present a defense or negotiate a plea agreement with prosecutors. The incident highlighted several important aspects of airline authority and passenger conduct. Airlines operating as private companies do possess broad authority to deny service to passengers, as Officer Smith had explained to Sarah. This authority exists even when the passenger has purchased a ticket and boarded the aircraft. Airlines can remove passengers for various reasons, including safety concerns, disruptive behavior, failure to follow crew instructions, or violation of airline policies. Passengers who refuse to deplane when asked can face both removal by law enforcement and potential criminal charges. Sarah's repeated requests for water throughout the incident suggested she was experiencing genuine physical discomfort. Dehydration can affect cognitive function and emotional regulation, which may have contributed to her difficulty processing information and following instructions. However, officers determined that providing water immediately was not safe or appropriate given her level of agitation and non-compliance. Standard protocol requires suspects to be secured and under control before officers address comfort needs that could potentially create additional safety concerns. The presence of body camera footage provided an objective record of the entire encounter. This footage would be critical in any legal proceedings, documenting exactly what was said and done by all parties involved. Body cameras serve multiple purposes, including protecting officers from false accusations, ensuring accountability for officer conduct, and providing evidence for criminal cases. In situations where a suspect makes claims about their treatment or the circumstances of their arrest, the video record becomes an invaluable tool for establishing the facts. The disruption to the Delta flight and the dozens of passengers who were forced to deplane represented a significant operational impact. The delay caused by Sarah's refusal to exit voluntarily cost time and money for the airline and inconvenienced many travelers. Airlines face difficult decisions in these situations, balancing the desire to avoid delays against the need to maintain authority over their aircraft and ensure compliance with crew instructions. The decision to return to the gate and involve law enforcement demonstrates the seriousness with which airlines treat passenger non-compliance. Sarah's statements about being on sabbatical, her research on burnout, and her declarations about becoming president suggested she may have been experiencing some form of personal or psychological crisis. Her behavior patterns, including the scattered references to various topics, the difficulty maintaining focus, and the dramatic pronouncements, indicated possible mental health concerns or the effects of substances. The mention of Delta 8 consumption raised questions about how that substance might have affected her judgment and behavior during the incident. The case of Sarah at Nashville International Airport on June 28, 2022, concluded with her arrest and booking on 3 misdemeanor charges: indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and resisting arrest. She was processed through the booking facility where she would have been photographed, fingerprinted, and allowed to make phone calls, including the call to her husband she had repeatedly requested. Her blue backpack was secured with her other belongings. The legal process would continue through the court system where she would face the consequences of her actions that day.